Yo guys, what's up? It's your boy, Jeremy Shapur here. It is time for my 2022 NHL Playoffs Round 1 predictions. This one is going to be a little bit of a long video because I'm going to be going into stats and that, so let's get into it. In Round 1, we have the Florida Panthers going against the Washington Capitals. This season, the Florida Panthers' record was 58-18-6. And for those of you that don't know what that means, I'll explain it once. It means they won 58 games, lost 18 games in regulation, and lost 6 games in overtime. The Florida Panthers have went to the Stanley Cup Finals one time in '66, where they lost to Colorado. Now, some of their players, I'll be talking about the players that I know their name and that. So, for Jonathan Huberdeau, he scored 115 points this season, which was his best. Joel Thornton had 10 points, which was his second worst of all time. His second worst season of all time. Ben Sherratt had 26 points, which was his best season of all time. And Sergei Bobrovsky, this was his best season as goalie. Now, for the Washington Capitals, they went 44, 26, and 12 this season. And they have been to the Stanley Cup Finals twice. 2018, where they beat Vegas, and in 1988, where they lost to Detroit. Nicholas Backstrom had 31 points, which was his worst season so far. TJ Oshie had 43 points, which is average for him. Alexander Ovechkin had 90 points, which is one of his top 6 best seasons. Trevor Van Riemsdyk had 17 points, which was his best season, even though considering he's only had 7 seasons. And Ilya Samsonov, this was his best season as goalie, considering it was only his 3rd season. Now, in head-to-head, the Florida Panthers and Washington Capitals played 3 games against each other this season, where the Panthers beat Washington 2 out of the 3 games this season. So my final thoughts is that Washington, even though Panthers had a good season this year, the Washington is going to win in 4. Now, the next series, Toronto Maple Leafs versus Tampa Bay Lightning. This one is one that I'm focusing on, because if you guys haven't seen my last post I made, me and my friend have a bet. Like I said, it's in my last post. I won't talk about it here. But this season, Toronto went 54-21-7, and they have been to 21 NHL Finals, where they've had 13 Stanley Cup wins and 18 Stanley Cup Final losses. Now, their players this season: Pierre Engvall had 35 points, which is his best considering he's only had 3 seasons. David Kampf, 26 points, which was his best, considering he's only had 5 seasons. Mitch Marner, 97 points, which was his best, considering it's his 6th season. Austin Matthews, 106 points, which was his best season, considering he's only played in 6 NHL seasons. William Nylander, 80 points, which was his best out of the 7 seasons he's had so far. Wayne Simmons, 16 points, which is his fourth worst season of all time. Jason Spezza, 25 points, third worst season of all time. TJ Brody, 28 points, which is average for him in an NHL season. Mark Giordano only had 12 points, which is his second worst season. Jake Muzzin, 14 points, which is his second worst season. John Tavares, 76 points, which is one of his top 5 best seasons of all time. And Jack Campbell, in my opinion, has had the best season of his career so far. Now we move over to Tampa Bay Lightning, who went 51, 23, and 8. Where they have had 4 Stanley Cup finals, where they have won the Stanley Cup 3 times, 0-4 against Calgary, 20 against Dallas, and 21 against Montreal, and 1 loss in 2015 to Chicago. Now their players: Patrick Maroon, 27 points, which is average for him. Riley Nash, 4 points, which is a little below average. Or I should say 4 points, not 40 points. I was looking at the wrong thing. Sorry, Riley Nash, 4 points, which is below average for him. Corey Perry, 40 points. Braden Point, 58 points. Both of those are average for those guys. Steven Stamkos, 106 points, which is his best season yet that he has played in. Victor Hedman, 85 points, which is his best. And Andrei Vasilevsky, however you say his last name, this is his second best season of all time. They played 4 games against each other this season, where they each won and lost 2 games. Now, my final thoughts is, considering everything, there's no way that Tampa Bay can win 3 cups in a row. If they end up with 3 cups in a row, I'm quitting watching hockey. But for this one, I have Toronto Maple Leafs winning the series in 4 to 6 games. Now the next series, the Carolina Hurricanes versus the Boston Bruins. Carolina went 54, 20, and 8 this season. They have gone to 2 Stanley Cup finals, where they won in 2006 against the Oilers and lost in 2002 to Detroit. Now, the 3 players I have to talk about are Jesperi Kotkaniemi, who had 29 points, which is his second best season considering he's only had 4 seasons. Jordan Staal, 36 points, which is average for him. And Frederik Andersen had an average season this year. Now, Boston went 51, 26, and 5 this season. They have gone to 20 Stanley Cup finals, where they've only won 6 and lost 14 of them. Patrice Bergeron had 65 points, which is one of his top 5 best seasons. Nick Foligno had 13 points, his third worst season of all time. Taylor Hall, 61 points, one of his top 4 seasons of all time. Brad Marchand, 80 points, top 5 seasons for him. David Pastrnak, 77 points, which is average for him. Charlie McAvoy, 56 points, which was his best season considering he's only had 5 seasons. And Boston's 2 goalies, Jeremy Swayman and Linus Ullmark, had their best. Both of them had their best seasons this season, considering Jeremy has only played 2 seasons and Linus has only played 7. Now, in head-to-head, they played each other 3 times this season, where Carolina won all 3 games. So my final thoughts here is that Carolina will win the series in 5 to 7 games. The next series, New York Rangers versus Pittsburgh Penguins. The New York Rangers won 52-24, 6th this season. They've gone to 11 Stanley Cup finals where they've won 4 Stanley Cups and lost 7 Stanley Cup finals. Barclay Goodrow had 33 points, which is his best season. Dryden Hunt had 17 points, which was his best season considering he's only played 5 seasons. Kaapo Kakko had 18 points, which is his second best out of the 3 seasons he has played so far. Ryan Reeves, 13 points, which is one of his top 4 best seasons. Adam Fox had 74 points, which was his best season considering he's only played 3. And Igor Shesterkin had his best season this season, considering it's only his 3rd season in the NHL. Now, the Pittsburgh Penguins went 46-25-11. They have gone to the Stanley Cup Final 6 times, where they've won it 5 times and lost in the finals once. Sidney Crosby had 84 points this season, which is average for him. Kasperi Kapanen had 32 points, which is one of his top 3 seasons of all time, considering he's only had 7. Chris Letang had 68 points, which was his best season. And Tristan Jarry had his best season as goalie this season. Now, in head-to-head, the Rangers and Penguins played each other 4 times, where the Rangers won 3 out of the 4 games. But considering all of that, my final thoughts is that the Pittsburgh Penguins will win the series in 4 to 5 games. Now, pardon me for 1 second while I get something to drink. In case anybody wondering what that was, water with a little bit of flavor in it. Strawberry watermelon to be exact. It tastes good going down, but leaves an awful taste in my mouth after. Now, the next series, the Colorado Avalanche versus the Nashville Predators. Colorado went 56-19-7 this season. They've gone to 2 Stanley Cup finals where they have won both. 96 where they won against the Panthers, and 01 where they won against the Devils. Nazem Kadri had 87 points this season, which was his best season. Arturi Lehkonen had 38 points, which is his best season. Nathan McKinnon had 88 points, which is average for him. Mikko Rantanen had 92 points, which is his best season, considering he's only had 7 seasons. Cale Makar had 86 points, which is his best season out of the 3 seasons he's played so far. And Darcy Kemper has had his best season so far. Now, the Nashville Predators won 45-30-7, and they have gone to the Stanley Cup finals 1 time in 2017, where they lost the Stanley Cup to the Penguins. Matt Duchene had 86 points, which was his best season, and Juuse Saros had his best season. Now, Nashville and Colorado played each other 4 times this season, where Nashville won 3 out of the 4 games. My final thoughts, Avalanche win the series in 7. Now, the Minnesota Wild versus St. Louis Blues. Minnesota went 53-22-7 this season. Joel, they have never been to Stanley Cup Finals, by the way. Joel Eriksson Ek had 49 points, which is his best out of his 6 seasons so far. Marcus Foligno had 42 points, which is his best season. Kirill Kaprizov had 108 points, which is his best out of the 2 seasons he's played. Marc-Andre Fleury had his second worst what's the word I'm looking for? God damn it. Where's my brain? Let me try to put it in simple terms. He had his second worst season, considering he got traded between 2 teams this season, if I'm not mistaken, and Cam Talbot had an average season. The St. Louis Blues went 49, 22, and 11 this season. Tyler Bozak had 12 points, which was his worst season. Robert Bortozzo had 6 points, which is average for him. Nicoletti had 24 points, which is average for him. Jordan Binnington had an average season this year, considering it was his 5th season. And Ville Husso had his best out of his 2 seasons that he's played so far. Head-to-head, they played each other 3 times, where St. Louis won all 3 games. My final thoughts is St. Louis will win the series in 7. Now, the Calgary Flames versus the Dallas Stars. Calgary won 50-21-11 this season. They have gone to 3 Stanley Cup Finals. 89 they won against Montreal. 86 they lost to Montreal, and then 04 they lost to Tampa. Blake Coleman had 33 points, which was his second best season of all time out of his 7 seasons he played so far. Milan Lucic had 21 points, which is his second worst season of all time. Tyler Toffoli had 49 points, which was his second best season of all time. And Jacob Markstrom had his best season as goalie of all time. Now, Dallas Stars went 46, 30, and 6 this season. They have gone to 5 Stanley Cup Finals, where they won in 99 against Buffalo, lost in 91 against New York Islanders. Another year against the Penguins. I forgot to mark the year down. 2000 against the Devils, and 2020 versus Tampa. Joel Pavelski had 81 points, which is his best season. Tyler Seguin had 49 points, which is average for him. Scott Wedgwood had his best season as goalie this season, considering he was traded between 3 teams this season. And Jake Oettinger had his best season this season as goalie. Head-to-head, they played each other 3 times, where Calgary won 2 out of the 3 games. My final thoughts, Calgary win the series in 5-7 games. And now, the final series of round 1. Edmonton Oilers versus LA Kings. Edmonton went 49, 27, and 6 this season. They have gone to 7 Stanley Cup Finals, where they won 5 and lost 2. Zach Hyman had 54 points, which was his best season out of the 7 seasons he's played so far. Evander Kane had 39 points, which is average for him. Connor McDavid, 123 points, which is the best out of his 7 seasons he's ever had. Darnell Nurse had 35 points, which is his 3rd best season out of the 8 seasons he's played. Mikko Koskinen had his best season as goalie out of the 5 seasons he's played. And Mike Smith had an average season this season. Now, LA went 44, 27, 11 this season. They have gone to 3 Stanley Cup Finals, where they won in 2012 against the Devils, and in 2014 against the Rangers, and lost in 93 against Montreal. Quinton Byfield had 10 points this season, which is his which was his best season considering it was only his second season. I see bright things in his future. Brendan Lemieux had 13 points, which is his second best season of all time out of the 7 seasons he's played. Jonathan Quick had an average season as goalie, and Cal Peterson had his best season out of the 4 seasons he's played as goalie. Now in head-to-head, they played each other 4 times, where Edmonton won 3 out of the 4 games. So my prediction is that LA will win the series in 6 to 7 games. Now, that is all my predictions for round 1. I will see you guys before round 2 starts, and I will give you my round 2 predictions, and then so on and so forth, whatever the next round is. I think it's round 2. But I will see you guys in the next round for my predictions. Peace out.